In a land older than memory, when the earth was young and the stars shone brighter, there lived a woman named Mira, a fierce huntress from the forest of Vian, and a man named Kael, a wise wanderer from the desert of Zaran. Their world was vast and untamed, filled with hidden realms and ancient mysteries guarded by monstrous beings born of stone, shadow, and fire. One fateful day, Mira and Kael crossed paths at the ruins of an ancient temple rumored to hold the eye of the world, a relic said to grant visions of hidden realms and reveal secrets of forgotten ages. As they approached the heart of the ruins, a low rumbling trembled beneath their feet. They quickly realized that the tales were true. The temple was not abandoned, but guarded by a beast known as the Horon, a colossal creature with scales that gleamed like molten gold and eyes that shimmered with the knowledge of centuries. The Horon's roar shook the ground as it lunged toward them, but Mira, swift and cunning, leaped forward, distracting the beast, while Kael used his wisdom to find a hidden passage beneath the temple floor. Together, they managed to evade the creature, venturing deeper into the shadowed halls, where walls pulsed with an ancient, unseen power. As they journeyed, Mira and Kael encountered strange visions, whispers of those who had sought the eye of the world before them. Shadows flickered, taking the forms of lost souls who warned them of the dangers that lay ahead and the price of uncovering hidden truths. Finally, they reached a vast cavern where a pool of dark, still water lay at the center, reflecting a strange, haunting glow. In the water's depths lay the eye of the world, a gem unlike any other. As Mira reached to claim it, the ground shook, and the shadows twisted, forming the shape of an immense serpent, its scales glistening with secrets and dread. Mira and Kael, standing side by side, faced this final guardian together. Kael, calling upon the spirits of his ancestors, used his knowledge of ancient chants to weaken the serpent, while Mira struck with fierce precision. Together, they defeated the serpent, and the eye of the world fell into Mira's hands. But as she gazed into the gem, she realized that it held more than mere visions. It held the power to reshape destinies, to alter fate itself. With a glance at Kael, she knew that their lives, their journey, had only just begun. Mira clutched the eye of the world in her hand, its cold surface radiating an unnatural energy. She felt a tug at her core, as if the gem itself wanted to pull her into its endless depths. But Kael's hand on her shoulder steadied her, anchoring her in the present. As they stood in the cavern's eerie silence, Mira and Kael exchanged a look, knowing that the eye's power could be both a blessing and a curse. Kael spoke softly, his voice echoing against the stone walls. The eye can reveal truths, but can also unravel them. If we dare look into it, we may learn things that will change us forever. With a slow, deep breath, Mira nodded. She lifted the gem, her fingers trembling slightly as she gazed into its depths. For a moment, everything around them blurred, and they were pulled into a vision, drawn through the strands of time and memory. In the vision, Mira and Kael saw their world as it once was, lush and verdant, brimming with life, watched over by beings of immense power. The Guardians, creatures of both light and darkness, each responsible for a realm. Yet the balance had been shattered by a force that sought to claim the eye of the world. A powerful king, corrupted by greed, had tried to harness its power, bringing ruin upon the land and turning the Guardians against each other. Suddenly, Mira and Kael found themselves face to face with the spirit of one of the Guardians, a massive creature with wings like thunderclouds and eyes filled with ancient sorrow. "You are the chosen ones," it intoned, marked by fate to restore the balance that was lost. But be warned, this path is one of sacrifice, and the price may be greater than you imagine. The vision ended, and they were back in the cavern, the eye of the world glowing faintly in Mira's hands. Mira looked at Kael, her heart racing with the knowledge of what lay ahead. They would have to confront the Guardians, who had been twisted by centuries of anger and betrayal, and restore harmony to the realms. Their journey took them through lands untouched by time. They faced the Guardian of Storms, whose fury could split the sky, and the Guardian of Shadows, who wielded the power to steal their very memories. At each turn, Mira's skill and Kael's wisdom guided them, yet the toll of the journey began to wear upon them. They were haunted by visions of what they could lose, and the shadow of a choice that would decide the fate of their world. Finally, they reached the heart of the world, a place where time and space converged. There, the last and most powerful guardian awaited, the Seraph of Light and Dark, a being that held the balance between creation and destruction. The Seraph loomed above them, an ethereal, almost godlike figure. Restore the balance, and you must each give of yourselves. The Seraph spoke, its voice like a distant echo. Mira and Kael understood. One of them would need to remain here as the new guardian, bound to the eye of the world to protect the balance for eternity. A painful silence filled the air. Kael, seeing Mira's fierce determination, took her hand, his gaze steady and resolute. "This world needs your strength," he said softly. "Let me be the one to stay." Mira's heart ached, but she knew that Kael's sacrifice would preserve their world. With a heavy heart, she placed the eye of the world into his hands, sealing his fate as the new guardian. As the cavern faded and the world restored itself, Mira returned to her people, carrying Kael's memory in her heart. She became a legend, the huntress who journeyed beyond time and defeated monsters to save her world. And Kael remained, his spirit bound to the eye, watching over the land as its silent protector, his story whispered among the stars. Years passed, and Mira became a revered figure across the land. Her tales inspired countless generations, though her heart bore the silent ache of Kael's absence. She wandered from village to village, teaching others of the guardians and the importance of balance. And yet her path often drew her back to the temple ruins where it had all begun. Here, under the shadow of ancient stone, she would remember Kael and the sacrifices they had made together. One evening, as the sun set in a blaze of crimson and gold, Mira felt a familiar pull, a tug at her core that she hadn't felt in years. It was as if something was calling her. The eye of the world, now guarded by Kael's spirit, was reaching out, resonating across realms and time itself. She followed the pull deep into the forest, through forgotten trails and shadowed groves, until she reached a clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center of the clearing, a faint glow shimmered, a portal rippling like water. It was a gateway to the heart of the world, the place where Kael now dwelled as the guardian. With a mix of fear and hope, Mira stepped through the portal, finding herself in a vast realm that felt both familiar and otherworldly. Trees shimmered with a ghostly glow, their branches whispering secrets of forgotten ages, and the ground pulsed with the life force of the earth itself. At the center of this ethereal realm stood Kael, his form woven from light and shadow, his eyes carrying the wisdom of eternity. "Mira," he spoke, his voice like the soft murmur of a breeze through the trees. Though he was no longer fully human, Mira could see the man she had once known, the friend and companion who had journeyed through countless dangers at her side. "Kael," she whispered, her heart aching with the joy and sorrow of seeing him again. She reached out, but her hand passed through his form like mist. "I am bound here, Mira," Kael said, sadness tinged in his voice. "Yet, there is still a part of me that belongs to our world, and it longs for you. I reached out across the realms to warn you. A darkness stirs once more." Mira's breath caught, but we restored the balance, Kael. We faced the guardians, defeated the monsters. "True," Kael replied, "but the balance is a fragile thing, Mira. Greed and ambition have taken root once more, and this time, it is not just one man, but an entire force, a cult that seeks to seize the eye and unravel the realms to gain immortality." Mira clenched her fists, feeling the weight of this new threat. But she looked into Kael's eyes and saw that he, too, had a plan. He explained that, while he was bound to this realm, he could channel a part of his spirit to aid her. With Kael's guidance and power, she could harness the essence of the guardians themselves. "Take this," Kael whispered, as a small, glowing shard appeared in his hand. It was a piece of the eye, a fragment of its power. Mira accepted the shard, feeling an immense surge of energy flow through her. "I will protect our world, Kael," she vowed, "just as you have. I will not let them disturb the balance." As Mira turned to leave, she looked back at Kael one last time. Though his face was filled with the wisdom of a guardian, his eyes held the warmth and loyalty of her oldest friend. "Remember, Mira," he said softly, "whenever you look at the stars, know that I am watching. I am with you, always." With a nod, she stepped back through the portal, feeling Kael's presence like a silent strength within her. Empowered by the shard and armed with a newfound determination, Mira returned to the world, ready to face the coming darkness. Her legend grew, and with each victory, she felt Kael's spirit beside her, guiding her toward a brighter future. A future shaped by courage, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bond between two souls intertwined beyond time that end the years that followed. Mira became a formidable force, known not just as a hero, but as the Guardian's chosen. With the shard Kael had given her, she could call upon the powers of the Guardians, the strength of the Storm Guardian, the stealth of the Shadow Guardian, and the wisdom of the Seraph itself. Stories spread of Mira's new abilities, her resilience, and her unyielding resolve to protect the world from forces that would see it fall into chaos. The cult Kael had warned her about, known as the Order of Eternal Dawn, was growing. They operated in secret, recruiting members from every corner of the realm, seeking followers driven by the allure of eternal life. Their leader, a man named Darius, claimed to possess knowledge that could unlock the eye of the world's full potential, rewriting reality itself. Darius and his followers believed that by claiming the eye, they could transcend mortality and reshape the world in their own image. For them, the balance was merely an obstacle in their quest for power. One moonless night, Mira received a summons from a hidden ally within the Order, a young acolyte named Mira, who had joined the cult to spy on their plans. She sent word that the Order had uncovered the location of an ancient artifact, the Mirror of Realms, a relic capable of merging worlds, bending the boundaries between realms, and giving its wielder unimaginable power. Mira set off at once, journeying to the heart of the Ashen Wastes, a desolate land where the Mirror of Realms lay hidden. Along the way, she encountered new allies, a healer named Lyra, whose knowledge of ancient remedies was unmatched, and a warrior named Yarrick, whose loyalty to Mira was steadfast and unbreakable. As they approached the mirror's resting place, the ground began to tremble. Dark shadows swirled around them, and Mira sensed the presence of the cult's strongest warriors. She and her companions fought fiercely, holding their ground against wave after wave of attacks. In the heat of the battle, Mira felt Kael's presence within her, guiding her movements, sharpening her senses. She wielded the shard with precision and power, drawing on the strength Kael had gifted her to protect those at her side. Finally, they reached the chamber where the Mirror of Realms was kept, only to find Darius himself waiting for them. He was cloaked in shadow, his eyes burning with an unnatural light, as if he had already begun to merge with the other realms. "Ah, the Guardian's chosen," he sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. "Do you really think you can stop me? I will take what's mine and ascend beyond mortal limits. I will become eternal." Mira met his gaze with unwavering determination. "Power without balance is a curse. You will destroy everything you seek to rule." With a twisted smile, Darius raised his hand, summoning dark energy from the mirror. Mira felt a rush of despair as the shadows crept closer, wrapping around her and her allies. But as the darkness tightened, Mira reached deep within, calling on the shard and Kael's spirit. Kael's voice echoed in her mind. "Use the light within you, Mira. It's stronger than any darkness." With a fierce cry, Mira unleashed the shard's power, filling the chamber with a blinding light. The darkness recoiled, and Darius faltered, his grip on the mirror loosening. Seizing the moment, Mira stepped forward, the shard glowing in her hand, and struck at the mirror. The impact shattered the relic into 1,000 pieces, each fragment glowing with the fading light of 1,000 realms. Darius screamed, his form dissipating like smoke in the wind as the connection between worlds was severed. The cultists fell back, defeated, as the chamber grew silent. As the dust settled, Mira stood amidst the broken pieces of the mirror, feeling Kael's spirit linger, warm and proud. She had saved the balance once again, but at a great cost. The journey had taken a piece of her, just as it had taken Kael, and she understood now that true guardianship meant sacrifice. Returning to her realm, Mira continued her life as the Guardian's Chosen, a living legend who protected the world with the wisdom of the past and the courage of those she loved. Each night, she would look up at the stars, feeling Kael's presence beside her, a reminder that even in worlds divided, love and loyalty could bridge any distance. In time, the Order of Eternal Dawn became a faded memory, and peace returned to the realms. Yet Mira's legend lived on, inspiring future generations to stand for balance, for courage, and for the eternal bonds that defy even the boundaries of time. Years flowed by like rivers carving valleys, yet Mira remained vigilant, her legend growing into a living legacy. Children sang of the Guardians chosen around their village fires. Her exploits became etched in stories, and her strength was passed down to warriors who vowed to protect the world. Still, Mira herself felt the weight of time, each battle and sacrifice leaving its mark on her spirit. She had known triumph and sorrow alike, yet her heart clung to the memory of Kael, her steadfast companion whose spirit had never truly left her side. One cold autumn night, as Mira rested in the high mountains where the air was thin and the stars sharp and bright, a strange sensation filled the air, a gentle hum, almost like a song drifting on the wind. Mira stood, drawn by the sound, her heart thundering as she recognized it as a song only Kael would know, one he had sung long ago on their travels. She followed the melody, her steps light yet swift, until she came to a quiet clearing bathed in starlight. In the center of the clearing, a figure waited. Though faint, like a specter formed from light and memory, she recognized Kael's form. His eyes, deep and steady, met hers with a warmth that bridged the distance between them, transcending time and realms. "Mira," he spoke softly, his voice carrying a calm strength that warmed her heart. "You've accomplished what few could ever imagine. You've held the balance, restored harmony, and given everything to protect the realms. I came tonight because you no longer have to do this alone." Mira's eyes widened, her heart caught between disbelief and joy. "What do you mean, Kael? I thought you were bound to the Eye forever." Kael gave a gentle smile, his form flickering like stardust. "The balance you restored weakened the barriers that once held me. And there is one final gift I can give you, Mira, a way to join me beyond this world, where the Guardians watch over all realms together." He extended his hand, and in his palm lay the shard he had given her so long ago, now glowing with a gentle light. "This shard was always more than a piece of the Eye," he said. "It is a bridge, Mira, a link between worlds. By joining me, you would give up your life here, but together we could watch over the realms as guardians forever." Mira felt tears prick at her eyes, the enormity of the choice settling over her. To leave this world, to step beyond it and join Kael in the realm of the Guardians, would mean leaving behind all she had fought for, the people who looked to her, the life she had known. But as she looked at Kael, she understood that her purpose would not end. Rather, it would transform as they watched over the realms, bound by duty, love, and eternity. Without hesitation, Mira reached out and took his hand. The shard's glow grew brighter, enveloping them both in a warm, celestial light. As the world faded around them, Mira felt a sense of peace she had not known in years. Her journey, her battles, her legacy, they all led her to this moment. The light surrounded them, lifting them beyond the bounds of earth and sky, into a realm where time ceased, and stars spun like silver threads woven through the fabric of the cosmos. Mira felt herself becoming one with the balance, her spirit entwining with Kael's, their presence stretching across worlds, watching over all they had loved and protected. And so, Mira and Kael became the guardians of the realms, their story etched into the stars, shining down on a world that would remember their legend for generations to come. Their spirits guided the balance, and when whispers of danger arose, the world knew they would watch over it, eternally united as protectors of the realms beyond time. In that boundless realm, their spirits glowed like twin stars, forever watching, forever guarding, bound by a love that defied the limits of life and death, a love that kept the balance for all eternity. Mira and Kael became one with the stars. The realms beneath them flourished under their silent guardianship. Villages prospered, forests grew vibrant and lush, and rivers ran clear. The stories of the guardians chosen and the silent watcher became tales of hope, filling the hearts of all who heard them. Yet their presence was not merely a distant memory. Mira and Kael, as celestial guardians, could still watch over the land, guiding and inspiring those who walked their paths. One night, in the heart of a dense forest, a young girl named Elara lay by a campfire, listening to her grandmother's tales of Mira and Kael. The girl had always felt a strange pull toward the legends, as though an invisible thread connected her to the ancient stories. As she gazed at the stars, one in particular caught her attention. A twin star, 2 points of light, so close they appeared as one. Her grandmother had told her that this star was known as the guardian star, and legend had it that Mira and Kael's spirits watched from within it. Drawn by an instinct she didn't understand, Elara closed her eyes and made a wish, her heart whispering to the stars, "If you are watching, help me find my path, just as you found yours." In that very moment, something extraordinary happened. The guardian star glowed brighter, casting a soft, silvery light that bathed the forest. To her amazement, the light seemed to take shape, forming a faint outline of Mira herself. Her presence was ethereal, like mist woven with starlight, but her eyes held a warmth that made Elara feel both awe and comfort. "Brave Elara," Mira's voice echoed softly, filling the forest with a gentle hum. "Your heart is strong and pure. You are chosen, just as I once was, to protect and nurture the balance of this world. I have watched you, and I have seen the strength within you." Elara stared in wonder. "But I am only a girl. How could I possibly be a guardian?" Mira smiled, her form flickering like a gentle breeze. "I too was once a girl with doubts, with fears. Strength does not come from power or magic alone. It is born from courage, from kindness, and from a heart that seeks to protect others. The shard that guided me is now within you. You are our legacy, and the world will know your story." As Mira's form began to fade, a tiny shard of light remained, floating toward Elara. She reached out, feeling the warmth of the shard as it settled in her hand, connecting her to something far greater than herself. She felt Kael's presence too, a reassuring strength, like an ancient wisdom whispering within her. With newfound purpose, Elara returned to her village. She began her own journey, one that led her to distant lands, fierce battles, and the discovery of hidden powers within her. Wherever she went, she felt the silent guidance of Mira and Kael, a bond that connected their spirits across time and space. She carried her story with her, and soon her own legend grew, a young girl with a heart of fire and the wisdom of the stars. Through Elara, Mira and Kael's legacy continued, a living link to the guardians who had come before. Their bond became a tradition, passed from one generation to the next, until the realms were filled with guardians, each one inspired by the stars and bound by a promise to protect the balance. And so, beneath the watchful gaze of the guardian star, the world remained safe, its destiny shaped by those who, like Mira and Kael, had given their hearts to protect it. Their love and courage lived on, woven into the very fabric of the realms, an eternal song sung by the stars, a promise never to be broken, echoing through the ages. Elara's legend spread, whispers of her courage and kindness reached the ears of those far and wide. She became a symbol of hope and resilience, drawing followers and inspiring a new age of guardianship. Guided by Mira and Kael's spirits, she trained others who felt the call, building a hidden sanctuary within the heart of a forest, known as Starhaven, where aspiring protectors could gather to learn the ancient ways of balance. At Starhaven, Elara taught the Guardians to be about the Shard of Light, the mystical fragment gifted to her by Mira. She explained how this shard was not merely a relic of power, but a symbol of the bond between realms. The shard connected all Guardians, past and present, binding them with a sense of purpose that transcended time and place. The training at Starhaven was intense. Elara led the new Guardians through the wisdom of the ancient arts, helping them understand that true strength came not from defeating darkness, but from understanding it, an idea deeply rooted in Mira and Kael's journey. Each Guardian received a pendant with a shard of Starhaven's crystal pool, a place rumored to hold echoes of the celestial realms. The pendants glowed softly, linking each bearer to the others, creating a network of protection that spanned across lands. But as Starhaven flourished, shadows began to stir once more. A sinister faction, calling themselves the Order of the Broken Sun, rose from the ashes of the old cult. Led by a mysterious figure known only as the Shade, the Order sought to claim the Guardian Star itself, believing it held secrets of immortality. They believed the twin star was a doorway to realms beyond mortal understanding, and they were willing to plunge the world into chaos to unlock its hidden power. The Shade's followers spread fear across the realms, wielding dark magic that twisted nature, blighting crops and draining rivers. They left symbols of a broken sun at the sites of their destruction, a chilling promise that they would eclipse even the brightest light. The people were afraid, and whispers of doubt crept into Starhaven. Elara sensed the weight of the coming storm and knew that she and her Guardians would face their greatest test yet. On a night when the Guardian Star shone unusually bright, Elara gathered her most trusted allies: Lyra, a healer with the gift of foresight; Riven, a warrior with unmatched skill; and Soren, a scholar who could decipher ancient symbols. Together, they prepared to confront the Order and their leader, the Shade, whose name had become a byword for terror. Their journey took them to the desolate Valley of Echoes, a place rumored to be the boundary between realms. Here, the veil between worlds was thin, and Elara could feel Mira and Kael's presence more strongly than ever. As they ventured deeper into the valley, they encountered creatures twisted by dark magic, monstrous beings that once had been guardians of the balance. It was a painful reminder of what the world could become if the Order succeeded. Finally, at the heart of the valley, they confronted the Shade. Cloaked in shadows and wielding a staff made of onyx, he towered over them, his eyes like pits of endless darkness. He spoke with a voice that echoed across dimensions, as though he were channeling the power of broken realms. Elara, you wear the shard like a trinket, but you don't understand its true power, the Shade sneered. It is not merely a symbol. It is the key to the very foundations of existence. With it, I will reshape the realms and become the new guardian of all that is. Elara held the shard tightly, feeling Mira and Kael's spirit within. The power of the shard is not for control. It is for connection, for unity. You seek to dominate, but the true guardians protect. A fierce battle erupted, magic clashing with magic, light against dark. The Guardians fought with all their strength, each wielding the gifts they had honed under Elara's guidance. But the Shade was powerful, his magic drawing from realms of despair and chaos. Just as hope seemed lost, Elara felt a surge of warmth within her, the presence of Mira and Kael, their spirits lending her strength. In a final, desperate move, Elara raised the shard high, channeling the combined spirit of every guardian who had ever fought to protect the balance. A brilliant light filled the valley, pushing back the shadows and revealing the true form of the Shade, a man consumed by his own greed, a shadow of what he once was. With one last cry, Elara shattered the shard, releasing a wave of energy that banished the darkness and cleansed the valley. The shards of light scattered across the realms, each one finding a home within the heart of a guardian, a new network of protectors born from the sacrifice. Though Elara had given up the shard, its power remained, woven into the fabric of every guardian who bore its light. The realms were safe once more, and Starhaven flourished, with the tale of the Shard-Bearer echoing through the ages, a story of courage, unity, and a legacy that would never fade, bound eternally to the stars. As the light of the shattered shard dispersed across the realms, its fragments embedded themselves into the hearts of each guardian present. Elara, exhausted yet triumphant, looked to the sky and felt a profound peace settle over her. The battle had been fierce, but their unity and courage had overcome even the darkest of forces. Starhaven became a beacon, its reputation growing as a sanctuary where guardians gathered, trained, and shared their knowledge of balance and protection. In the years that followed, a unique phenomenon began to take shape. Each time a new guardian received their pendant, they experienced a vision, a glimpse of Mira and Kael, a fleeting connection to the very first guardians, as if Mira's and Kael's spirits were blessing each new protector. These visions became known as the Whispers of the Guardians, and they were regarded as a rite of passage, a silent vow from the ancestors that each guardian was never truly alone in their journey. Starhaven's influence spread, creating a vast network of sanctuaries across the land, all connected by the spirit of unity. These sanctuaries became safe havens for the weary and the wounded, where guardians would share stories of their adventures, warning each other of emerging threats and teaching the next generation of protectors. Starhaven's wisdom, guided by Elara's teachings and Mira and Kael's legacy, became known as the Code of the Guardians. The Order of the Broken Sun, though defeated, had left scars upon the land. Their dark magic lingered in hidden places, giving rise to new dangers. Enchanted forests twisted by curses, rivers that whispered spells to those who dared to drink, and mountains with shadows that seemed to move. These remnants of darkness drew a new wave of guardians, determined to purify the land. Elara, now an elder leader of Starhaven, grew wise and gentle with age, her hair silver like moonlight. She continued to guide her students, sharing tales of her own journey and encouraging each guardian to find their unique path. She spoke of courage, compassion, and the true strength that came from humility. Her heart remained deeply connected to Mira and Kael, and she often sought their guidance beneath the twin stars, knowing that their spirits watched over her still. One night, as she meditated beneath the guardian star, a voice spoke softly within her heart. It was Kael's voice, warm and familiar, carrying with it a new revelation. "Elara," the voice murmured, "the balance is ever shifting. In the distant lands across the sea, a great force stirs. The realms are calling once more, and the guardians must be ready." Elara knew this was not a message to keep hidden. It was a call to action. She gathered her closest guardians, including Lyra, Riven, and Soren, and shared Kael's warning. Together, they devised a plan to expand Starhaven's influence across the sea, setting out on a new expedition that would bring the Guardians to lands they had never before explored. The journey was arduous, taking them across vast oceans, through storms and unknown dangers. When they arrived on the distant shores, they discovered a land that bore the marks of ancient battles and mysteries, its people unfamiliar with the stories of Mira and Kael, yet driven by a similar yearning for peace and protection. Here, Elara and her guardians established a new Starhaven, teaching the Code of the Guardians to the people of this land, who welcomed the wisdom and strength of these visitors. Soon, the influence of the Guardians spread, and the legacy of Mira and Kael became a bridge between realms and cultures, their light illuminating distant lands and inspiring hope in hearts across oceans. In time, Elara's journey too came to an end, her spirit passing into the realms beyond. She joined Mira and Kael among the stars, becoming one with the Guardians, her light shining beside theirs as a third point in the Guardian star, forming a trinity that would watch over the realms eternally. Generations later, people would still look to that star, seeing not only Mira and Kael, but also Elara, the one who carried their legacy to distant lands. Together, they remained an enduring symbol of courage, unity, and the undying light that guided all who walked the path of the Guardians, their spirits woven into the constellations, watching over a world forever touched by their journey.